Okay, so you know how you guys sent in that video,
Uh-huh.
Unlock Your Potential, a student's guide to success.
Right.
And, at first glance, you might think, oh, this is only for, students hitting the books.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do in this deep dive is really like distill it down to the core advice
Mm-hmm.
that can apply to anyone, wherever you're at in life,
Look at
whatever your challenge is.
Yeah, we're looking at the bedrock, really,
Yeah.
of hard work and that belief in yourself.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, what the video is getting at, too. Like,
Yeah.
that drive to always be getting better, to face those obstacles head on and really unlock what we're capable of.
Absolutely.
And, the video opens with something that I think a lot of people can relate to, whether you're, a student with a stack of papers due or someone like smack dab in the middle of a huge project at work.
Uh-huh.
That feeling of being totally overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
The video paints this vivid picture of student life. Exams are always around the corner. There's like a million assignments piling up, and you're constantly trying to perform, in your classes, but then also like have a life outside of school.
Right.
Have you ever felt that weight of everything just like bearing down on you?
Oh, yeah.
Because what the video is saying is that this feeling, it's not just, a student thing. It's like a human thing when you're up against a big challenge.
Yeah. And what I find really interesting is that the video doesn't just stop at saying, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It goes on to say that these struggles, the intense periods of focus, the times you got to push through, even when you're tired, those are the very things that build resilience and help you develop those crucial skills you need.
Yeah, it's like that pressure, within reason, of course,
Right.
actually helps you get stronger.
Absolutely.
And that ties in perfectly with how the video talks about success, which I thought was really insightful. It's not about, that far off, like almost mythical idea of perfect achievement.
Right.
Instead, it's about something much more like immediate and attainable.
Yeah.
Progress.
That's right.
It's about showing up consistently, even when you'd rather just, hide under the covers.
Absolutely.
And it's about putting in your best effort right now, whether or not you feel 100% ready. But at its core, it's about truly believing in your ability to learn and grow, even when those doubts start to, creep in.
And I thought was really smart is how the video uses this analogy
Okay.
of comparing huge accomplishments to like one tiny action.
Oh, okay.
The first step you take.
Gotcha.
Like studying turns into understanding, or starting a task you've been putting off makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Or that little flicker of belief that pushes you to chase a big goal.
And when you look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it shows you the power of breaking down those giant, scary goals into like bite-sized pieces you can actually handle.
Suddenly, that massive project doesn't seem so impossible when you just focus on finishing the research first or just writing the first draft of your outline.
Totally. And it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About what challenges you're facing right now or a goal you're working towards.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of that very first step you took?
Uh-huh.
Maybe it was making that phone call you'd been putting off, or sketching out that first design, or even just, making the decision to commit.
Right.
Realizing that even those seemingly tiny actions can be the start of something big.
Yeah.
That can be so empowering.
And speaking of progress,
Yeah.
the video tackles something that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Okay.
Failure.
Yeah.
And it's so direct about it.
Okay.
It just comes right out and says, you're going to fail. And that's okay.
Hmm.
There's something really freeing about that statement, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like it takes away the shame of not succeeding right away
Mm-hmm.
and shows you that it's a normal part of learning and growing.
Yeah.
It's not saying that failure is, the end of the story or proof that you're not good enough.
Right, exactly.
It's more like it's crucial feedback.
Right.
It's a chance to look at what went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
figure out where you can improve and change your approach.
Yeah, and the video even mentions that pretty much every successful person you can think of has had tons of setbacks.
Right.
What sets them apart is their ability to bounce back.
Resilience.
Yeah, resilience. Their ability to learn from those experiences and keep going.
And that brings up a good question for us and for you listening too.
Yeah.
How do you usually see your own failures?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think of them as like proof that you've reached your limit, or are they more like temporary roadblocks
Right.
that can actually teach you something?
Yeah. The video encourages that second way of thinking, to see each setback as a chance to learn and adapt.
Yeah.
It even calls it a setup for a comeback.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and that mindset of always learning and adjusting, that's so important. It is, and it's easy to feel alone when you hit those roadblocks, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure.
And that's why I really appreciated that the video talked about how struggle is universal.
Hmm.
It reminds us that feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you just don't measure up, those things aren't unique to you.
Right.
The video says it straight out. It's easy to look around, think everyone else has it all figured out, but the truth is, everyone is navigating their own set of challenges.
And that message, you know what I get from that is this sense of we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds you that those internal struggles, those feelings of not being good enough, they're actually way more common than we think.
Yeah.
And the video's encouragement, the ones who succeed are the ones who keep going no matter what.
Yeah.
That means even more when you see it through the lens of we all struggle.
Yeah.
It's saying that just plain persistence, even when you're full of doubt, that's a huge part of what makes people successful.
It really is. And it makes you look inward, Think about those times you felt like you were the only one struggling.
Mm.
Does this idea that everyone faces challenges when they're trying to achieve something meaningful?
Right.
Does that resonate with your own experience or what you've seen in other people?
It's a good reminder to be kind to yourself and to others,
Totally.
because you never know what challenges they might be dealing with that you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the video doesn't stop at just, giving us these insights.
Right.
It gives us a clear call to action.
Okay.
It challenges us to take one concrete step today towards our goals.
Hmm.
That could be something as small as spending a focused hour on something you've been putting off, or brainstorming ideas for a project.
Yeah.
Or even just taking a minute to remind yourself that you are capable.
Right.
And the reasoning behind this call to action is really smart.
Okay. How so?
Action builds confidence.
Mm-hmm.
That first step, no matter how small it is, creates this feeling of forward movement.
Right.
You're actually doing something. You're not stuck.
Yeah. And that starts to chip away at that inertia and self-doubt.
Mhm.
And as you get more confident, that feeling of, I can do this, it starts to take hold.
Yeah.
And that makes it more likely that you'll keep moving forward.
And what I find really insightful is that the video expands its view beyond just, immediate academic success.
Okay.
It stresses that the effort we put in, whether it's in school or, any kind of self-improvement or professional development,
Yeah.
it's not just about grades or finishing one task.
Mm-hmm.
We're laying the groundwork for success in every part of our lives.
Right.
We're honing our skills, we're learning more and more, and we're building up that resilience that we'll need in all sorts of situations we can't even predict yet.
It's like an investment in your future self.
Exactly, not just in what you're doing right now.
And it all comes back to that powerful message.
Mhm.
The video ends with, dream big, work hard, and never, ever give up.
Yeah, it's short and to the point.
Yeah.
And it perfectly sums up everything it's been talking about. So as we wrap up our deep dive into this video,
Mm-hmm.
what are the key takeaways for you listening?
Well, first, it normalizes that feeling of being overwhelmed when you're facing big challenges.
Right.
Second, it redefines success as making consistent progress instead of reaching some impossible perfect state.
Mm-hmm.
Third, it shows us that failure is a chance to learn and grow. It's not the end of the world.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And fourth, it points out that everyone feels doubt and struggles and encourages us to keep going.
To persevere.
Yes, to persevere. And finally, it champions the power of taking that first step towards your goals.
No matter how small.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
It echoes that last bit of encouragement from the video, that belief in your potential and the excitement for all the things you're going to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful message that anyone can use no matter where you are in life.
So here's a final thought for you to think about that builds on the video's main idea of unlocking your potential. Think about one small step you can take today, not just for a goal you have right now, but for discovering a hidden talent or ability you haven't fully tapped into yet.
Mm-hmm.
What are you curious about that you could start exploring?
Yeah.
What skill have you always wanted to develop that you could start working on?
That small action could be the start of something truly amazing.
You never know.
Exactly.
The possibilities are endless.
That's the beauty of it.
It's all about taking that first step.
And keeping on going.
Exactly.
That's the key.